Well, good afternoon and happy holidays. Good afternoon. Happy holidays. It's so great to be with you again here on Thinking Tuesday because if you know that it's Tuesday at noon, you know it's time for us to take a little time out from our busy schedules. And I know that you're all busy buying gifts and preparing all for the festivities, but there's always time to reflect on our growth. So as we approach this season of holidays, in fact, we're in the season of holidays and celebration with family, friends, we should take some time to reflect, right? What will we be reflecting on? I know what I am reflecting on. I am reflecting on how I have grown over the past year and areas in which I would like to grow in the coming year. How have you grown personally? I'd like to ask. And I'd like you to answer that for yourself. How have you grown personally? How would you like to continue to grow personally? In what areas? What areas would you like to grow? Because we grow in several areas. We can't grow all at once in all the areas, but sometimes we can select specific areas, and you know what that starts with. It begins with our thinking. How do we think? What have we accomplished? How have we accomplished it? Why didn't we accomplish what we wanted to accomplish? And that's why our motto on Thinking Tuesday remains, your mind is a garden and your thoughts are the seeds. And you, only you, can grow flowers, which are those positive thoughts that moves you in the direction to where you want to go. They move you in the direction of growth. And then there are those weeds, which we also cultivate, unfortunately, sometimes unknowingly. But those are the negative thoughts, the self-limiting thoughts, the self-defeating thoughts that we want to get rid of. We don't want to cultivate those. So that's why our motto is, your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Because many times we think that we cannot achieve things before even attempting them. And we give up before we even attempt them. Or we hope, that famous four-letter word, we hope that things will change. But if you're like me, you know that hope is important, but hope is not a strategy. It's a beginning feeling, which is important. And then your hope should turn to a wish, probably, and then to a desire, a strong burning desire that will move you towards what it is that you hope you will get. But hope is not a strategy, as I said. Growth has to be intentional. If you hope to grow, you have to be intentional about doing that. It might happen accidentally, but when things happen accidentally, we have no idea sometimes of how or why they occur. We just enjoy the fruits of what occurred. But when we can implement something intentionally, then we can repeat it. Because when we are successful at something, then we want to repeat it. If it just happens and we don't know how it happened, then we're not guaranteed that we can let it happen again. So growth has to be intentional. When things happen, when growth happens intention or accidentally, we don't know how to fix things when we need to fix things. We don't know how to change things when we need to change things. So intentional growth helps you to avoid those preventable pitfalls. Because we do grow sometimes learning from our mistakes if we intentionally look at them and try to determine why this occurred, why things didn't work out. But sometimes they are preventable mistakes, they're preventable pitfalls that can be very harmful, even though we could still learn from them. So if you can avoid, if you can save some energy and avoid the pitfalls, why not? So be intentional. But I want to remind you of some growth gaps that I shared much, much earlier in the year or two before. Because it's always good to remember what are the thoughts that I had, the thoughts that we had that led us in the wrong direction, that kept us from doing what we would like to do, that kept us from moving in the direction and growing in the areas that we want to grow. So let me just share five of those growth gap traps. Now that's a tongue twister. The growth gap traps that we sometimes fall into that prevent us from growing. The first one is the assumption gap. We assume that just because we're going to grow taller or we're going to grow in different ways physically, that the same thing is going to happen to us in terms of our growth in other areas. But if we want our lives to be improved, you must improve yourself. So growth does not happen accidentally. It happens intentionally. You have to make it happen. You have to put things in place. So don't assume that because you're growing physically that you're going to grow in other ways as well without any intention. So the assumption gap is one that lead us into areas that are not really helpful because we assume, and when we assume, many times we don't really take the initiative. We just assume that it's going to happen, and it doesn't happen, and then we wonder, well, what happened? Why didn't it happen? It didn't happen because we didn't make it happen. Okay, the other growth gap trap is the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. Well, we all don't know everything. I don't know everything. No one knows everything, but we learn by doing. We learn by searching. We learn by speaking to others. We learn by trying. Sometimes we learn things that we didn't intend to learn, but we are open to learning, so we learn something. Most people have a financial plan. I have one. You probably have one. Most people have an insurance plan. You have an insurance plan for your home. You have an insurance plan for your life. You even have an insurance plan for your children. You have a college growth plan so that when your children are ready to go to college, or when you are ready to go to college, or when you want to return to college, you have the finances to do that. So we have all kinds of plans, but let me ask you, do you have a growth plan? Do you have a growth plan? If you're not leaving all those other things to happenstance, why would you leave your growth to happenstance? Why aren't you more in control? Why don't you see the need? So I'd like you to think about that also. Plan to grow intentionally. Your life is worth planning for. So the knowledge gap can be fixed by being intentional in how you want to grow, the things you want to know so that you can grow. And the third growth gap trap that we find ourselves in sometimes is it's not the right time to begin. Well, if it's not now, then when? We have good intentions, like I said, but we often procrastinate. And I'm laughing because I do fall into that category sometimes also. But when you are aware, and awareness is the key, when you're aware that you tend to procrastinate, then you can develop strategies to combat that procrastination. So we have good intentions, but we procrastinate. We're waiting for the right time. So I want to remind you, if you didn't hear this previously in one of my messages, I want to remind you of the law of diminishing intentions, which says that the longer you wait to do something, the greater the odds that you will never, ever do that thing, whatever that thing is. So just do it. Just assume. Just take on Nike's motto. Just do it. Just do it. If it occurs to you, then it means that you need to follow it up. At least that's what I do. If something occurs to me, I pay attention to it. Because many times the answers are given to us, but we just dismiss them out of hand without really checking them out, questioning, taking a closer look at what they mean. So just do it. Don't wait to get motivated, as many times we say, oh, I'm going to wait till the right time, I'll get motivated. No, a different way of looking at it, and that's why I call this Thinking Tuesday, because it's about mindset. You start in order to get motivated, because once you start, you begin to feel motivated. It might not be all at once, but the more you do, the more you do. So don't wait to get motivated. Now is the right time. Start now to motivate yourself. Begin now, and your motivation will grow. Believe me. The other growth gap trap is the mistake gap. None of us want to fail, but sometimes we don't start because we're afraid that we're going to make mistakes. So we remain at status quo. And once we remain at status quo, we won't grow. So don't be afraid of making mistakes unless you know it's something that's really going to be harmful or deadly. I'm not talking about those mistakes. But sometimes we hold back because we're fearful. We feel that we're going to be embarrassed, or other people are going to laugh at us. Whatever it is, this is your life, nobody else's. So don't be afraid of making mistakes, because mistakes are just another way of learning how to do something. So much of what we have at our disposal now came about as a result of somebody's mistake. And you're enjoying the results of their mistakes. It spawned an idea that they never thought about. But by doing whatever it is that they were doing, they created something. So don't be afraid of your mistake. Welcome them. Welcome them as part of the path, as the path to success, to grow, at least the process of growing. Mistakes are to be expected. So if you expect them, you won't run from them, because they can be your ally, really. The other growth gap trap is the expectation gap, and this is the fifth one. Oh, I thought it would be easier than this. I didn't realize that it was going to be so difficult. Well, there's no growth without effort. Everything worth having or achieving is about moving upward, climbing some mountains. When you climb a mountain, you get new vision. So you might not have expected it to be that hard, but we know that when we put effort into something that we want, we're more likely to achieve it. When you see others doing things with what seems to be ease, and it might be ease at that point, it doesn't mean that they did not put in some hard work. What you're seeing, that what you're able to enjoy in seeing what they're doing and what they're able to enjoy in doing what they're doing, is the result of a lot of hard work and persistence. It might seem easy. You might call it luck even. But if you're looking for a formula for luck, I can give you one right now. The formula for luck is preparation, which is growth. You prepare. You have the right attitude. I expect something positive to come out of this. Plus opportunity, because when you prepare and the opportunity presents itself, then you're more likely to grab it and take advantage of it. And then action. Doing something about what you want to see happen. Taking action. And that's the equivalent of luck, if that's what you call luck. So it's preparation, which is growth. The positive attitude plus the opportunity, and then taking action when the opportunity arises, and that's luck. So if that's what you consider luck, then that's the formula. So good luck with that. So as you are celebrating, think of ways in which you can also celebrate you. Think of where you would like to be next year this time. What can you do differently than you are currently doing or what you have done in the past? Think about new ways in which you can change your thinking. Because as I say always, your thinking is going to drive your actions and your behavior. So I want to share with you a way in which you can begin to intentionally reflect and grow in the coming year. Beginning January 3rd, a Tuesday, and every Tuesday in the month of January through the 31st, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., I will be offering a 5-week course called New Year, New Mindset. Renew and refresh your intention in 2023. Lots of nuggets for growth. Register at Eventbrite. It's live now. The link is live. You can go to Eventbrite and look for New Year, New Mindset. Renew and refresh your intention. It's a holiday offer. It's 5 weeks for 1 hour. That's not asking a lot to invest in yourself. I'm glad you agree. So I want to wish you Merry Christmas. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, and we all know the reason for the season, the birth of Jesus Christ. Celebrate in whatever manner you feel like celebrating, but remember the reason for the season. Also, as you move into the new year, be grateful that you've come this far. Unfortunately, some did not. Be thankful for what you have, what you've been able to accomplish, and reach out to others who may not be as fortunate as you are. Remember to grow yourself. We're here for a purpose. We all have something to give. And when we grow, we're able to tap into those resources that we were born with, that we were created with, and we are able to fulfill those purposes for which we were placed here on earth. So as we celebrate the holidays, I want you to find ways to celebrate you also. Not just with the expectations and the intentions, but also with a growth plan. To grow yourself intentionally and have more reasons to celebrate this time next year. So I hope this has added value to you. And if it has, please share it with someone who you feel would also benefit from this. All of my other messages can be found on my YouTube channel, Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. And as I always invite you to do, please go to my website, drcherylburton.com, to see many of the programs and services that I offer. The 5-week course that I just mentioned is also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also find it on my website, Dr. Cheryl A. Burton, CherylBurton.com. So download, while you're on my website, download a free brochure to help you in your growth as you begin to contemplate those areas in which you would like to grow. It's a free brochure downloadable on my website, drcherylburton.com. So enjoy the holidays, celebrate with family and friends, count your blessings because we have many, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at noon for Thinking Tuesday. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Take care And I look forward to seeing you or to speaking with you next Tuesday at noon. Take care. Bye bye.